Alrighty, this is Caesar 434. A little context for this passage is that in the previous passage, Caesar was describing how as his men were exploring the woods, they were surrounded by the Britons and the Britons' chariots, and he talks about the intensity of the chariots, and now he's going to talk about how after he shows up, the Romans will be able to escape from this predicament they're in. So, quibus rebus perturbatis nostris noetate pugnae tempore opportunissimo Caesar auxilium tulit. So, Caesar, subject, brought help at the most opportune time. This is ablative of time when, to our men, this is the indirect object, having been disturbed, our men having been disturbed by these things, this is ablative of agent, and then noetate pugnae is in a positive to quibus rebus, because it's further explaining what these things are, and that is the strangeness of this mode of battle. Namque etius adventu hostes constituerant, nostris se ex timore receperunt. For at his arrival, and this is adventu is ablative of cause, because his arrival causes a whole bunch of changes. At his arrival, the enemies stop, and our men recovered themselves out of fear. And this is a syndeton because there is no conjunction connecting these two phrases. Quo facto ad lacescendum hostem et comitendum proelium alienum esse tempus arbitratus. So, quo facto is kind of an idiomatic way of saying, although all this was accomplished. Although all this was accomplished, Caesar, thought, which is a verb of the head, and this opens up an indirect statement with esse, the infinitive verb, as the verb, and alienum tempus, the accusative nouns, as the subject. So he thought it was an unfavorable time to attack the enemy and to start a battle. And this is an example of ad plus gerundive to indicate purpose. Suo se loco continuit et brevi tempore intermisso in castra legiones reduxit. He, Caesar, kept himself in his own place, and suo loco is ablative of place where, and with a short time having been let pass, this is ablative absolute, he led the legion into the camp. Dum haec gerantur nostris omnibus occupatis qui erant in agris reliqui descesserunt. While these things were happening, this is deponent, with all our men having been occupied, this is ablative absolute, those, which is implied, who were remaining in the fields, left. Secutae sunt continuos cum plures dies tempestates, quae et nostros in castris continerent et hostem a pugna prohiberent. Storms, the subject, followed for many days continuously, which, so the storms that were going for many days, both, got to get that both and, that point on the AP, both kept our men in camp and stopped the enemy from attacking. Interim barbari nuntios in omnes partes demiserunt, paucitatemque nostrorum militum suis praedicaverunt. So, meanwhile, the barbarians sent messengers into into all parts. And this quae here is translated as both, because you can see the first word in the next phrase is et. So, and both proclaimed to their people the low number of our soldiers, and then you'll see what else they did. They et quanta praedae faciendae atque in perpetuum sui liberandi facultas daretur, si Romanos castris expulsent demonstraverunt. And this is the other thing the messengers did. They explained how great an opportunity was given, and this is subjunctive of indirect question, because how great the opportunity was, to make plunder, which is a gerundive in genitive to express purpose, and to free themselves in perpetuum, forever. And this is accusative of extent of time. If they were to expel the Romans from camp, and this is a future condition in secondary sequence because it is inside of this perfect indirect question, so it's in secondary sequence. So this is expulsent is translated as were to. His rebus celeriter magna multitudine peditatus equitatusque coacta ad castra venerant. So by these things, these speeches that the messengers are giving in all the places, they quickly, with a great crowd of infantry and horsemen, foot soldiers and horsemen, having been assembled, so this is ablative absolute, they advanced towards the camp. So the Britons gathered this big army, and now they're advancing towards the Roman camp. And that is it for Caesar 434. Sorry for being so late. Sorry about that. I'm a crappy person. I get it.